Hello, welcome to the Trophy Trust, your weekly podcast for PlayStation Trophy Hunters. I'm one of your hosts, the Dazil, and joining me this evening we have Punish.
Hey guys.
And we have the Vectronic.
Hello.
Evening, gentlemen. It's just the three of us this evening, so we're going to have a shorter, more sort of tighter show in regards to running time, probably. So we let's just kick off with it, shall we? And let's just get into what we've been playing recently. It's been another week since our last episode. We had a few new releases and 7 days to get some more trophies in and some games played. So I tell you what, Punish, why don't you start off and tell us what you've been up to?
My big game that I've been playing Final Fantasy X HD Remaster, and then just today I finished off Batman: The Enemy Within, which is season 2 of the TellTale Batman series.
How did you find that?
I found it absolutely. I'm a huge fan. I was a huge fan of the first one. I was really looking forward to playing this one. And then the final episode finally came. I usually, when it comes to Telltale games, I usually wait until all episodes are released because I can't stand waiting. So the final episode was released on the 27th, and I downloaded it right away, and I had an amazing time with it. I really enjoyed the story, the choices, and the outcomes with it.
Without going into any particular spoilers, you can answer a question for me with just one word, which will keep it vague for any listeners who haven't played it yet. Vigilante or villain?
Vigilante.
Interesting. Me too. I won't go any further on that. If you've played it, you'll understand what that means. But I thought it was really good. It was definitely an improvement over the first season. Not that the first season was bad or anything, but they stepped it up a little. And I really like the. I'm not sure about you, but I really like the combat choices that they've put in these games, where you can choose what combat, like where to flow in regards to like taking down an enemy. You can choose, like say, like anchoring a gun to the floor, or kind of like punching someone instead. Like you can, it gives you a little more option. We all know, like with Telltale games, basically the story will always end in roughly the same place. You have like kind of little control over the game, but having the option to choose what combat you do when you're facing a situation, it just adds a little bit more freedom to your story, makes you feel like you've got a little more free will and choice within it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. I really enjoyed it because it was kind of, it also gives you more choice along with how Batman really is too. Is he going to be more merciful while he beats the crap out of the guy, or is he just going to bludgeon him, to near death?
It's the story went in a different way than how I thought in regards to like, because again, trying to be very careful with dancing around spoilers and whatnot for that game, but the game has a lot of sort of origins in regards to a few of the villains, or at least first introduces a few of the villains, and I really like how I've mentioned it previously, how it's a fresh take on a lot of origin stories, or how the villains are perceived in the game. At least particularly one famous villain, or a sidekick to a villain, how they are represented in this game compared to how they're usually represented in other mediums of Batman. Seems that they're taking more of a center stage, which is really interesting. It was a really, really refreshing change to that character. It was actually role reversal almost.
Yeah, exactly.
About it, which was really clever, actually, really clever. And that game looks really good. Like I'm playing on a pro anyway, but the games don't really have pro support anyway, at least not to my knowledge. I mean, a lot of boost mode makes it work any better or be any smoother. I doubt it, but those games look really good. The character models, particularly, like when there's close-ups in some of the character models, they've got a little kind of like you can see all like pores in their skin and stuff, which is really surprised me for a Telltale game, because usually the style of their character models and just the visual style of their games is usually quite in recent years, like comic booky, kind of basic, but they've really upped their game, if you'll excuse the pun, when it comes to just the way their games look. And this time I didn't experience any glitches, no crashes, no bugs, no glitches, nothing from episode 1 to 5. I had no problems. This is probably the most stable game I've played, and I know that sounds like that's quite an achievement, and I mean that in a really nice way, in a kind of critical way towards Telltale, because we all know their games do suffer from bugs in the past, some really bad ones. So it was really, really good. I didn't notice any. It was great.
Yeah, I was actually going to touch on that because I went from playing all the Walking Deads seasons to playing Guardians of the Galaxy and then going into this. Like you said, absolutely no crashes. I didn't have anything glitch, because there's been times where you're sitting there selecting something and the game still won't progress. I mean, smoothest Telltale game I've ever played. I mean, in all honesty, I was really, really happy to see that because, like I said, I'm a huge fan of the Batman series. So,
yeah, I really liked it, and I definitely recommend it. I recommend both season 1 and 2 if you haven't played it, and even if you're not into Telltale games or if you're a Batman fan or vice versa, they're definitely worth a play. Telltale have definitely got much better over the years. Not that they were bad anyway, but I mean they're really improving going forward. It makes it sound like I'm saying they were bad, but they're not. I've really enjoyed Telltale games. I've played every Telltale game that's been available from Back to the Future onwards. I haven't played anything. I didn't think I played the Jurassic Park one. I didn't. That's the only recent Telltale game I haven't played.
Wait, that's Telltale? What?
It's a really old one, like a really old. Yeah. I don't think it even had like any platinum or even any trophies or anything. It's really old.
No, it has like 9 trophies, but there's no platinum for it.
Oh,
okay. So. I heard pretty bad things about it in the past, so I've always avoided it. And but yeah, this is a good sign going forward for Telltale because we've got The Wolf Among Us coming, like season 2 of that.
Yes.
And just yesterday, Telltale's Twitter tweeted out a picture, didn't they, of a teaser for the final season of Walking Dead.
We'll get to that.
Yes, indeed. More to that later on. But so Punish, is there anything else you've been playing?
I went ahead and played Slide or whatever it was. My EU account downloaded that. It took me like 30 seconds.
I've seen this. A lot of people on the old server have been using this to get a very, very quick platinum. I haven't looked at it myself.
It literally took me 43 seconds to be exact.
So
and it was just like that.
The game?
It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle. That's all it is.
It can't be that much of a puzzle if you can get the platinum in a couple of seconds.
Yeah, it's a really, really easy puzzle. Literally, you have to go into the medium setting, and you pick one of the pictures, and the picture, puzzles itself. It rearranges the parts and everything, and literally, all you have to do is get a certain score. And because I did the game so fast, it took like 2 minutes for my platinum to pop because the trophies were catching up to it. Like I popped all the trophies all at once.
Man, wow. These games are getting a little bit too silly now in regards to these platinums. Like this is, because I'm pretty sure I saw someone the other day who said they got like all the game done in like about 30 seconds. This is mad. How much was it anyway? Out of interest,
it was 99. Well, I would say in Europe 99 cents.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would say that, so I'm sorry, but it's 0.99. So it was literally.
Interesting. I may check it out in future, but I don't know. This just seems like it's getting like a little too much now with these like really easy platinums. I guess. I suppose if it's 99 cents or 99 pence or wherever you buy it from, I suppose it's not too bad. But you are, I don't know. We've touched on this so many times in regards to like talking about like the Jack debug platinum menu and stuff like that. Like, where do you draw the line? So we don't really need to touch on that again, but. There you go. It's out there if you want it. If you've got an EU account, I'm sure it'll come to NA accounts and more in future. Usually these little games don't stay in one region for long.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So is that everything, Punish?
Nope. I actually stacked Midnight Deluxe today, too. I actually earned 5 platinum trophies today.
So. on the subject of really easy. And then again, saying that, I wasn't going to include this. I wasn't going to include this in my recently played because it was just such a minor game. But I will just quickly touch upon it because you've did it. I actually liked that game. I thought it was pretty well made.
I enjoyed it. I really did.
Yeah, it was much better than the 36 Fragments game from the same developers, and this is pretty much a sequel to it, but totally different mechanics. Like it's more like Angry Birds. Like you've got to catapult your little cube, little square dude across the ranges to get to the finish line. I liked it. I thought it was really good. I got the PS4 version as well. Yeah, it's cross-buy.
And I would like to say this: the PS4 version was a lot easier than the Vita version. It felt like it was really hard to control the firing mechanism on the Vita. Like it was
That's
a little
because
bit
of
worse.
analog sticks have got like less of a range on them.
Yeah, it was horrible. So it took me a little bit longer to do it on Vita, but like I said, like you said, I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was a really decent game. It doesn't take you that long, probably like 30 minutes to an hour, depending on your skill level and everything like that. But yeah, it's a good game. I advise everybody to pick it up.
I liked it for the price. I can't really complain. I mean, you get an easy platinum out of it after doing 40. Was it like 70 levels available? And yeah, you get what you pay for, and it's definitely not the worst game I've played. It's just like a little mobile game, and I actually did both of the platinums on Vita. I did the native Vita one, then I just booted up PS4 and did it through remote play on the Vita. So because I wanted to sit and watch TV, and it's one of those games where you can just have like one eye on the TV and one eye on your Vita, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't really require much concentration. So I just watched some television whilst getting the platinum on the PS4 through remote play. Yeah. All right then. So that's everything, yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you've had a nice little increase in platinum trophies in the last week. So that's pretty cool. Vic, let us know. What have you been playing recently?
Okay, so this week I finished Lollipop Chainsaw, and I got some
Oh yeah, I
stuff.
remember you talking about that last week.
Okay, so this is a short game. I never expected to actually hit the end until like it actually happened. Like the credits started rolling. I'm like, wait, really? That's it? That's the game? I felt like that game needed more polish. It's certainly a great game. Don't mind you. I honestly think it's a really good Suda 51 game. The thing is, I think a bit more polish and a bit more levels would have helped. And I would certainly buy it again if there was a remaster of this game, because good lord, this game is very great to just not stick on the PS3 for so long that if a PS4 remake would ever come by, it's an instant buy for me. So game wise, I thought the game was lacking at the beginning, and later on it actually helps that the upgrades really help you with the actual combat, because the fluidity becomes much better, much more controlled. It actually helps to get like the best combos for the high scores for the actual trophies themselves, and I really enjoyed my time with this game, and now I have to do it again just to get some of the other trophies I need for like miscellaneous. Besides that, I decided to take a break afterwards and go back to the PS4. And now I'm playing a bit more games that I missed. So, for example, I started playing a bit of Hat in Time to finish that game up. And I kind of find some interesting stuff while playing Hat in Time.
Okay.
Yeah, so last night on Twitter I decided to make like a thread about it. So basically what I did was that I noticed that my trophies weren't popping for some of the requirements. And
always a worry. That's always a worry to any trophy hunter.
Yeah, like that was weird. That trophy should have popped. And the trophy was like Vacuum Vandal, which is basically you have to stay on top of a vacuum cleaner type of Roomba that you have to hit like the walls. And no, this is not a tricky trophy. This is something I noticed while playing the game. And, I waited until like the trophy didn't pop after like 10 minutes, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. Where's the trophy? And so I went online to see if any threads were available, and one of the recommendations was delete your save file. I'm like, I'm already like 80% through the entire game, and now you're telling me to delete my save file?
Oh, no.
No, I'm not going to do that. So what I did was, I decided to connect to the online and restart the game itself. And once I did that, I went to do the trophy, and the trophy popped, and I'm like, okay, so the trophies only pop when I'm online now? That's kind of weird. And it didn't happen to me before, because the other game I was playing was Jack 2 again on PS4. But that popped even though I was offline. So I decided, okay, let's go troubleshoot. Let's see what happened. So I detailed a thread right here, seeing what kind of stuff I actually detailed, like, oh, that's weird. That's kind of popping. So I decided to test it out with some trophies, and wouldn't you know, they all popped when I was connected online, and this is kind of worrisome. So if any developer of Hadn't Time like Gears for Breakfast is listening through this, I really hope this is patched in future updates.
Yeah, I remember having something like that years ago when I was playing GTA 5 on PS4, and I collected all of the UFO parts that are scattered all around the game, and you can imagine it took a long time because it's a big game. And I went to turn in the mission, and the trophy didn't pop for it, and I was thinking, oh, okay, this is worrying. So I turned the game off, restarted it, reloaded my save because I created a save
Mm-hmm.
just before turning the mission in. So I generally do anyway. I don't know what I was saving, a manual. And yeah, I was trying and trying and trying, and it wouldn't pop. And actually, the problem was actually the reverse of what you've had with this game, is it wouldn't pop because I was connected to the internet. It had some kind of weird error or some kind of something going on in the background behind the game to do with maybe like Rockstar Social Club or the online connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is I disconnected my PS4 completely from the internet. I turned the internet connection off in the settings, reloaded the game, did the same thing again, and the trophy popped. And I did a little bit of searching around on the internet, and a few people have also discovered this. This is fixed now. This has been fixed for years. This was literally years ago. But at the time, it was obviously really concerning to me because this game was massive with so much to do, and I was thinking, well, if I can't pop the trophies without being connected to the internet, with whilst being connected to the internet, how the hell am I going to do GTA Online? Because obviously I need to be online. But I think they addressed that before the time I got onto GTA Online. They issued a patch and it sorted out the trophies. But yeah, just going back to what I said, for people like us who trophy hunters who enjoy the thrill of collecting trophies, when there's a glitch or something doesn't happen where it's supposed to, it kind of makes your heart like skip a beat for a second because you think like, oh shit, like I just wasted my time. If I just like locked myself out of platinum permanently, do I have to replay the game again? It's worst nightmare for people like us who
Funny,
enjoy.
funny you should mention like locking out of your trophy. There's a trophy that I almost got myself locked out of, and it was like trying to get like a high score in like between two rival factions in the Hadn't Time game, and it was called Feeling the Feud, and that was basically trying to get like 2,000 points, which is easy enough. But if you look into like the photos I have right there, it's like I have more than required enough. Why does the trophy not pop? So I went in and tried to figure it out. So it's basically the trophy pops after you obtain like points towards the total, not the total itself. And if that sum of the total becomes 2,000, it actually pops. And I'm like, wait, so you basically can lock yourself out of this trophy by pure accident if you don't happen to get the trophy offline. And, most people will actually go online to download the trophies, I mean, the game, and then go play the actual game and not get any trophies. That's kind of weird. So,
Mm.
yeah, you don't actually want that. So I messaged the developers via Twitter. Hopefully, I get a response. But as of this recording, I still haven't gotten anything. So
So these are the kind of reasons why before I go into a game, I always check a trophy guide because on like PS trophies, on the forums, you have user guides created by the people who have played these games and suffered through glitches and bugs and spent a lot of time replaying games and finding like exploits and all that for people like us to have at our disposal. So I always like to go through and go on the guides and have a read through to see for glitched trophies, see if there's a way around. Because
interesting. I'm sorry. Interesting enough that glitch I mentioned. It's apparently a rare glitch that only happens in certain games. Not so sure with the actual version itself. So it's not in any guide as of this recording. So
okay.
I'll probably
hopefully
miss.
it'll get addressed.
Yeah, hopefully. So sorry. Continue.
Oh no, that was it really. Is that all you've been playing recently?
Lastly, I started playing the Jack 2 on PlayStation 4,
Mm-hmm.
and oh my god, that game lags. Okay, So there was a sale last a few weeks ago that basically had like Jack and Daxter for collection for like $20, and I used my 20% off coupons. I got it for like $15, and so I decided to download some of the games. So I started up Jack 2, to play that game again because I actually like some of those games, and wow, that game lags a lot. I'm kind of surprised because that game is not optimized well. So, Jack 1 actually runs nice, but the problem was that textures were like doesn't load or anything. But when you get to like Jack 2, you'll notice some frame dips along the side, and it kind of gets annoying after a while. So, if you're planning to get Jack 2, I might as well recommend it for you just to play it on PS3 or on the original PS2 title, because Jack 2 in PS4, not the best, not the best. So that's my kind of advice if you're gonna buy the actual thing. Like, it's not worth the $40.
Be aware then, going in would be your message.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, fair enough. I've already spoken about it before in the past, and yeah, I'm giving those games a wide berth on PS4. I don't have an interest in playing them anyway. All right, so if that's everything, I guess that leaves me.
That's correct.
Okay, well, I picked up Far Cry launch day, Far Cry 5, and I have actually been enjoying it. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it for two reasons. Number one, I'm going to go into more detail further down for a tricky trophy, so stay tuned for that. And secondly, I haven't actually spent too long in the campaign. Like, I've had it since today is Saturday of the day we're recording this.
Yes.
And I've had it since Tuesday. There's a reason why I haven't spent too much in campaign, which I will go over later. But I've spent maybe about 4 to 5 hours in the campaign, which is relatively small compared to the overall size of the game. Like, the map appears smaller than the other games, but that isn't indicative of how big the game is in terms of things to do. So, but it's more Far Cry. I can't really say anything more than that. I mean that in a good way. I really enjoy Far Cry 4, Far Cry 3. I've dabbled in 2, and I've never played the first one or even the classic port of it. It's the same kind of thing, you're liberating outposts, sneaking around in the bushes. The animal hunting has changed a little bit. You don't sort of craft pouches and quivers and bags and stuff out of the animals anymore. You just sort of skin them and trade the skins in for money at stores, so they've sort of removed that bit. But other than that, it's the same kind of Far Cry, really. You've got your weapons wheel, you've got vehicles to drive around. It's just sort of an open sandbox of just mayhem, blowing stuff up, stealth kills. Like I said, outposts, you can do it, guns blazing, or you can go in stealth. I always prefer stealth. In previous games, always opt for the bow and arrow. The reflex bow with like a red dot sight, but I've been doing a lot of sort of automatic, semi-automatic weapons in this one, just something different. I'm playing on easy. There's no difficulty trophies, and there never seems to be in those games. Recently, at least I've noticed recently, or at least in the last few years, that Ubisoft games generally don't really have difficulty trophies. There's no difficulty trophy for Watch Dogs 2, no difficulty for Assassin's Creed, Origins, Far Cry 4, Far Cry 3, Far Cry 5, they don't have any difficulty-based trophies, so I think to myself, well, I'm not going to put myself through any unnecessary hassle for, no trophy. So I just put it on easy and I have a really good time. And yeah, it's just sneaking around, doing missions for like the local residents. I haven't pursued much of the story, actually. I've been doing a lot of side missions just to kind of like open the map up out a little bit more. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it so far. I'm going to put plenty of time in it tomorrow for sure. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say so far, because I haven't put enough time to give a proper in-depth, like I've barely touched the story. So that's all I'm going to say on it, and I'll pick up a little bit more later on in a segment down the line in this episode. So yeah, that's everything we've been playing this week. So why don't we move on to news and discuss some recent developments in gaming news. So Nick, tell us what stories we've got to discuss.
Okay, so let's start off with the big one, which is the PS Plus lineup of April just got revealed. So, free games for this month are Mad Max and Trackmania Turbo for PS4, In Space We Brawl and Toy Home for PS3, and 99 Vitas and Qbert Rebooted for PS Vita.
Okay,
So,
um, well, I'm just going to say first, I've only heard of one of those, Mad Max. Punish, what's your take on this?
Really not excited about this month's lineup. I mean, I haven't played Mad Max, so I will give it a shot because I did hear some good things about it. However, compared to the month of March, this one's seems kind of lackluster to me. But
Yeah, I guess it was going to be hard to follow after March's run up, like Ratchet and Clank, Bloodborne, two huge console exclusive first party games. Sorry, well not first party for Bloodborne, but well, actually no, none of them were first party. They were third party but exclusives. Sorry. Yeah. So, but two really big games. So obviously the month after had to either deliver bigger, which was unlikely, or deliver this. But then again, I've seen lots of positivity towards Mad Max. I've actually been tempted in the past to pick it up in a sale because a lot of people do sing its praises. But I've read through the trophy guide and it is quite a long, lengthy game to get the platinum. So it's kind of put me off a little bit. And I've read about a few potential glitches, and that generally puts me off even more when I read that there's sometimes glitches in games. I'm like, oh, do I really want to risk it? So yeah, I'm probably going to pass because I've got so much on my system. I've got obviously Far Cry. I recently bought Mafia 3 in a sale. That's on my system. I've recently bought Resident Evil 6 because loads of people hate on that game, but I actually enjoy that game. I really enjoyed it on PS3, so I bought it again for like £7 in a sale. So you can't really argue with that. So I've got plenty.
that's not a bad sale.
No, so yeah, I'm probably gonna. And like I said, I haven't heard of any of these other games, to be honest, in the lineup.
yeah.
So unless anyone else has, or
I've heard of some of these. So, Trackmania Turbo is basically a racing type game, which you basically create your own tracks, share with other friends, and play mayhem and chaos around with 4 other players. And it's actually pretty interesting. So you basically make your own tracks and play against other people. And there's like 200 tracks pre-made that you can actually go around and play to get a feel around the game. But besides that, that's only on PS4. The other ones are probably you guys never heard of these. So, In Space We Brawl is basically what if, the game Geometry Wars? What if that was co-op and it was basically dogfighting? So, the other one is Toy Home, which is a shitty PSN game that came out for PS3. That it's basically made by the same developers of Folklore and Genji Days of the Blade, if you want to get technical, which basically got defunct and also made with Evil Within. So, interesting tidbit of the day. For the Vita games,
I just the descriptions are like, for me, that none of these are really piqued my interest. To be perfectly honest.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, I'll end up putting like Mad Max into my PS Plus library and probably download it later. But I mean, I got a huge backlog of games, and it looks like the month of April will be the month that I work on my backlog.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, if we've none of us have got much more input to put on it, then we can just move on.
Yeah, sure. What else we got? So we teased a bit, so let's go into it. TellTale teases the final season of The Walking Dead. Finally.
Yes.
Yeah. So the teaser image that they slightly older looking Clementine, and I can't remember what was the name of it. AJ, that was it. AJ, and a slightly older AJ. He looks like he's maybe between 5 to 6. Maybe
yeah, I'm thinking maybe like 7 to 8 years old, because that's how old Clementine was when Lee met Clementine in Walking Dead season 1. So I think they're trying to go for like a complete, they're going for what's it called for writers, trying to go for the linear storyline or whatever, where it comes right back around to where something familiar. So.
Yeah, well, I obviously have no thoughts on it other than no predictions, because it's sort of hard to predict those games. I know it's going to be the standard sort of heart-wrenching stuff that's going to happen and whatnot. Those games are really tragic in a in a really good way in terms of like enjoyable storytelling. Season 2 was particular. Like season 1 was, we all know, season 1 sort of
pulled on your heartstrings.
Yeah, and then season 2 was like even more brutal with like certain choices and certain characters and like the endings and whatnot. And then so it's season 3. Are they going to go the full sort of like?
This will be season 4 technically. Last Frontier was season 3. If you want to get technical on it.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I hated season 3, so I tend to like push it off to the side because there wasn't that much story with Clementine in it. And I'm really excited about this one because it looks like they're just going to focus on Clementine and focus on AJ as well, which will be really good because it was kind of like threw you into it in season 3, where it's like, here's Clementine, she's taking care of the baby disappeared. And that's it. They focused on that other little. I don't want to go into details where nobody has played the game, but they focused mainly on that family that was that runs into Clementine. Mm-hmm.
So I must have like a lapse in memory there. Yeah, totally. This is the 4th season, isn't it? Because don't want to touch on it too much around like for spoilers, but the Last Frontier didn't really go too much into what was revealed at the end of season 2. Like it didn't really follow that particular story. It was more about because was in season 2 Clementine was the main character, wasn't she? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, you control, like in season 1 you controlled Lee. Season 2 you controlled Clementine mostly. And all your choices were made through Clementine. And then you got to season 3, and everybody was like, "Woohoo, more Clementine! We're going to get to find out what happens with her, what happens with the baby." Obviously, your choices at the end of season 2, but a lot of people were disappointed with the Last Frontier because
wasn't it New Frontier?
Okay, I'm sorry, New Frontier.
Yeah.
I apologize, but everybody was really disappointed with it because none of your decisions at the end of season 2 affected what happened in season. It didn't matter because at the end of season 2, you had a choice between one person or the other, and it didn't even matter if you chose that person or the other because you didn't even end up seeing them if I'm correct in season 3. So
okay.
Well, anyway, I'm definitely. I will absolutely get it, but I never buy Telltale games at launch anyway. I always wait till they come out. The season passes on sale because they go on sale so quickly. Anyway, they go down. They're usually like around 25, and then they drop down to like below 15 when they're in a sale for all the episodes. So I always wait. I'm never in a rush to buy Telltale games anyway, just because they always end up in sale. Inevitably.
Yeah. For me, I have a question because I'm the outsider looking in because I've never played of any of the Walking Dead. So my takeaway on this, thank God they're actually finishing Walking Dead because they can actually focus on other IPs now. Good.
Well, I mean, it's good, yes and no, but I mean, The Walking Dead's been the most successful IP.
Although, yeah, my question is, they say it's the last season. Would they actually commit to it?
I believe so. I mean, here's the thing. It could be the last season of Clementine's story. They might come out with where, it kind of mirrors what's happening in The Walking Dead, the show. Yeah. Somewhat, like, timeline-wise. In season 3, you got to meet Jesus, which is one of the big characters in the show and in the comic book. But, like I said, I mean, with Telltale having to lay off a bunch of their staff, they had to cut some of the games they wanted to make. And with Walking Dead being their most successful IP, it wouldn't surprise me if they said, okay, this is the last season, ... for Clementine. We plan on doing another Walking Dead, but with, a whole new set of characters or a show like they did the Walking Dead Mission episodes. Maybe they'll do something like, similar to that. So.
Okay. Yeah, I can totally see that. I feel like this is going to be like, I hope it's an epic conclusion, I really do, because I want to jump into this series sometime in the future, but not now. I feel like I'm already telltaled out for a moment, so yeah. Anyway, is that all you want to talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay, we can move on. Okay, so the other ones we got is that THQ Nordic and Nickelodeon are teaming up to revive some hidden classics. So, if you don't know, the apparently THQ originally made some licensed games for Nickelodeon, and by making those licensed games, decided to like, okay, we're gonna stop doing this. We're gonna create our own content and made Darksiders, and from that made the the abrupt disruption of the actual company that went bankrupt and went down below, and now we got THQ coming back with Darksiders 3, and now this article popping up, which is apparently that Nickelodeon wants to plug in some of their old classics like SpongeBob, Bow for Bikini Bottom, the Rugrats IPs for the moment, Invader Zim, Jimmy Neutron, among others. So, what do you guys think about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, Punish. Go on, you go.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I really don't care. I really don't. I hate SpongeBob. I think it's the most annoying show in the world. All those. I mean, I think it's just going to be there. Going to be some easy trophies, some easy platinums.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I hate 9 out of 10 Nickelodeon shows. I really particularly didn't enjoy it when I was a kid. So that really doesn't interest me that much. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't have any dislike for Nickelodeon shows. I like SpongeBob. I grew up watching the Rugrats, Dexter's Lab, all that kind of stuff. That's not
Cartoon Network.
That's Cartoon Network. Sorry,
Yeah.
But that era though is where I grew up. That kind of Dexter's Lab, Johnny
Mm-hmm.
Bravo, Ren and Stimpy, Rugrats. The kind of I'm a '90s kid, so I grew up in the '90s. So, but yeah, not really, to be honest. The only game I'd ever be fond of is Rugrats Search for Reptar. If they ever brought that out again,
It's on the list.
It was an awesome PS1 game. I was always waiting for that to come for backwards compatibility for Vita, because I'd definitely play that again. I love the golf mini game in that. So,
Yep. So
yeah.
we'll probably see some PS2 to PS4 backwards compatibility sometime in the future with some of these games, especially if they're so keen on it, because one of the announcements claims that on-shelf availability will be announced in the coming months. So we'll see more about this in the future, apparently. So
Cool.
yeah. Okay, so keeping on the track with THQ, another IP that basically got announced is that Red Faction. I'm not sure if you guys know about this. Red Faction Guerrilla is getting a remastered. God damn it! I really hate that pun. Coming to PC and consoles. So basically, it's gonna be a full remastered on PS4, PC, and Xbox One, coming around in the second quarter of 2018. And on this will actually feature the original Red Faction Guerrilla in all its glory, with the multiplayer intact. So it will be reworked full graphics, improved shadow and lighting, and support 4K native support. So, what do you guys think about this?
Well, I never played Red Faction, at least no. I may have dabbled in it. I may have rented it once when I was a kid. It was on PS2, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. First one came out on PS2.
Yeah, I think I played a few. I rented that and played it a few hours and didn't like it and took it back. So that's my only experience with Red Faction, to be honest.
Oh, you played the first-person game. Yeah. This one's a third-person one. So.
The first person one I enjoyed. I ended up buying it on PS2, and I played the multiplayer a lot. And the reason we enjoyed the multiplayer is because it had the rail cannon.
Oh.
With the scope where you could see through the walls, so me and my friends would just run around the map and try to rail scope each other. And plus, it was one of the very first games that had where you could affect your environment, where you could actually destroy the environment. So we would actually like blow up walls and crawl into walls and things like that, and just sit there in like a little hole in the wall and try to shoot somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably won't play it now. I mean, I don't think the series will look really good on current gen, but go ahead.
Yeah, if you want to play the original games, they're on PS4 to PS2 to PS4 games. So if you want to have a noggin on that, you can play the original like first-person shooters. But this is mainly the third-person game Gorilla, which was originally a PS3 game that sold very well actually. But afterwards, the other game was Armageddon, and that didn't sell well, so the IP was buried ever since. But I think they're gonna revive it somehow with the recent resurgence on how Red Faction is becoming more mainstay on those systems. We'll see, but not sure whether you guys want to input something else before we move on.
That's all for me.
No, I'm good.
Okay, so the final news we got this week is basically a release for Dragon Quest XI: Echoes of the Elusive Age, which is surprisingly coming on September 4th, 2018 for North America and Europe. So this was a game I've been keeping an eye on, but not so much because of the series, because of how the game actually handles and the RPG standpoint that it actually sells. And it actually looks pretty cool. So it's coming on PS4 and Steam, so if anyone wants to hop on those games, probably you might want to check out the pre-order section. So what do you guys think about this?
No interest in Dragon Quest at all. Never played them. Not on my radar, I'm afraid.
I have to kind of say the same. I mean, I've seen some of the games. I've watched some gameplay footage. I've never had the opportunity. I've never really actually dived into the game series itself. So with the new one releasing, it's just another one that would get tacked on that I might play. So, but I really can't offer any to it.
Oh, that's fine. I'm just gonna put it out there so that people actually get into it, because Dragon Quest has been a series that has been in localization hell for a couple of years, and this is basically one of the more triumphant games that's gonna be like mainstayed on the PS4, like maybe sometime in September. Like, I feel for example, because I've heard some hype not only on the server but outside of it as well for this, so we'll see more on those. So that's about the last story of the day. So we can move on to.
Okay, well, let's move on to the old tricky trophy section then, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, so tricky trophies. This is where we look back our trophy collections at some of the most challenging, rage-inducing gameplay, or just plain boredom and grinding we've had to endure for a single trophy. Now, I'll tell you what, I'll go first because now I can actually finish my story about Far Cry.
Yes.
Because my tricky trophy is from Far Cry 5. And this one is called Arcade Competitor. The description is win 10 featured maps in multiplayer, brackets arcade only. Now, a lot of people, because firstly, let me just tell you, on our Discord server, as I've mentioned in the past, we have boosting threads and such for games. We've recently created and added a boosting channel for, well, not necessarily purely boosting, but a channel for Far Cry 5, for Far Cry 5 discussion, any helps, tips, etc., boosting for multiplayer. And a lot of people in there have been having a lot of trouble with these trophies. These are the online multiplayer trophies. There's a component in a new game called Far Cry Arcade. It's almost like it almost feels like a completely separate game.
Mm-hmm.
You boot it up from the menu and it takes you into this kind of like 80s arcade style kind of interface in regards to like kind of chiptune kind of music, kind of pixelated graphics and whatnot. Matchmaking for PvP, but there's also like map editors and stuff. You can build your own little single player missions. It's pretty cool, but the actual let's not kind of like go off on a tangent about that. Let's just stick to this at hand. The multiplayer, the actual PvP, it's not great. It kind of feels like very basic Call of Duty, like no perks or anything, just sort of like team deathmatch, and that's pretty much it. You have maps on there. You have featured maps, which are ones that are created by Ubisoft. There's 7 of them, and you have the user-created ones, which anyone can basically make. And between games of team deathmatch or deathmatch, in the lobby while you're waiting for a game to start, you vote, and the most votes is the map that the next game starts on. Now, for this trophy, you have to win 10 matches on featured maps. Now, as I just said, there's only 7 featured maps, and all the rest are user created. So it's a very random trophy, and a lot of people have been having trouble with it. It took me 4 hours to get it done. Other people in the Far Cry 5 thread, for example, you've got CJ Verds and Trophy Hall, Posteronic. They've been having trouble with it as well. They've been doing a lot of grinding. They thought they could AFK it because apparently there's no timeout for it, so you can just leave your controller overnight. But that's not even a surefire way of getting the trophy, because the people have to vote for the map. It has to land on a featured map, and then you have to win it. So there's like loads of like variables in this equation for the trophy, and it's really annoying. So I will tell you now, I am shit at PvP. I will openly admit that. That's why I don't play Call of Duty. It's why I don't play online. It's why I don't play online or enjoy online in general, because I'm crap at it. I'll admit that I don't enjoy it because I'm not good at it. So, and that being said, I was put on teams with people who are worse than me, and so we were just losing all the time. And yeah, so it's really frustrating when you're relying on people to win, to help your team win for this trophy. And it's really, really annoying. And I'm lucky I got it within 4 hours, but other people have not been so lucky because of everyone votes for different like user maps. Like some user maps are really good. They seem like featured like professionally made ones, so people vote for ones that they enjoy. And like I said, there's only 7. So my best tip to people out there listening who want to try for this trophy is, when you go to the Far Cry arcade menu, you can browse all the maps that are available to play. You can just see them all. You go in and you can have a look at them. You can filter your search by a featured, so you can see which are the featured ones. The 7 that are made by Ubisoft will come up. My tip is, learn the names of them, learn what they look like in the little thumbnails, and then when they come up in the lobbies, when you're in deathmatch or team deathmatch or whatever lobbies, just vote for them and try and get people to get in there quickly, because generally people tend to vote, they just pile up votes on the one that's getting voted on, more or less. I've seen it a lot of time in games where you vote for maps. Luckily though, like I said, I got lucky, and a lot of the players voting for one of the same featured map over and over. There's one called Neon Gladiators, which is kind of like a snazzy kind of like indoor, kind of looks like a weird virtual reality kind of like digital space. It's a very small map, but luckily it's a featured one. But again, you still got to get the wins. You still got to get 10 wins, and there's no guarantee with the wins. So it's another one of those instances where multiplayer trophies is just being a pain in the ass,
Yeah.
So, it's not the worst. It's not like there's other multiplayer trophies, but then they're all like natural progression ones, like to get to level 20. That's easy.
Yeah.
You can easily get to level 20. At least it's not like get to a level 100. This is definitely the hardest trophy in the game in terms of like effort you have to put in.
I have a question
yeah,
though. Does it have a minimum required amount of players to have on the lobby in order to get this trophy? Like,
yes, it does. You
how
have
much?
to have a minimum of 6 people in a lobby
What?
before a game starts.
What? So you have?
Side.
Oh, that's gonna be horrible for boosting.
Yeah, you can't private match boost and private lobby boost unless you've got 5 other people to help you out. So people have been trying to get together in the thread, but as you know, on our server, there's people from all over the world on our server from different time zones. So it's really hard to coordinate people.
Yeah.
So you have to either be really lucky by yourself, or find 5 other people who and help you grind it out. Take turns, because there's a trophy for getting 100 kills online. Again, not too difficult.
No.
That you probably get naturally anyway. It's just this one, Arcade Competitor, win 10 featured maps in multiplayer. That's the bastard one that's going to take you a while, because it's almost luck based. It's whether you're lucky enough to get put in a team that's good, or unlucky enough to get put in a team where you're going to get killed. You're going to lose a couple of matches in a row. So it took me I was playing it from like 9 in the morning to like 2 p.m. in the afternoon, just trying to get this. My main focus was this one trophy, because the others you just get naturally.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not cool. When Far Cry was released and people were saying, "Oh, easy, the trophy list really easy," I was like, "Oh, I breathed a sigh of relief, thinking, oh, brilliant, But it turns out they put multiplayer trophies in. There we go.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've waffled on enough about Far Cry. I'll tell you what, Punish. What's your tricky trophy for this week?
My tricky trophy for this week is one that I'm currently working on. It is called the Lightning Dancer from Final Fantasy X. Now, for everybody that's familiar with Final Fantasy X, you come up onto an area called Thunder Plains, and you actually have to dodge 200 lightning strikes. Now, I was able to dodge it all the time, over and over and over again, when Final Fantasy X first came out on the PS2. But this trophy is a little bit more trickier this time around. Oh, I'm sorry, this time around is a little bit more trickier because with the high def connection and the 4K resolution, it causes a lag in the system. So yeah, it no matter how many times you see the flash, there's a lag until when the lightning bolt actually strikes, because basically what you're doing, you're running around in this area, and then when you see a flash, you hit a certain button to actually jump out of the way. Well, I actually attempted to do this twice in 2 different nights, and I was having no such luck. But I've watched a couple of videos. There's supposedly there's actually lightning towers all around the area to where you can get into, and it prevents you from getting hit by lightning. But I guess there's this one particular area where lightning will strike every single time when you get near this certain tower. So I'm actually going to attempt it probably either again tonight, or I'll attempt it again here in the next couple of days. But it is, like I said, it's a pain in the butt trophy. It was a lot easier. It's kind of sad saying it was a lot easier doing it on PS2, doing the actual lightning strikes, not getting the trophy, obviously. But I really, really want to platinum this game. It's one of my favorite Final Fantasy games, and there is one other difficult trophy that I might have to go for, but I think this one's probably going to be my biggest hurdle. So
yeah, that reminds me of a Final Fantasy trophy that Claire was having trouble with for a while. I remember he because of input lag, it was for the skipping rope or something in one of
the jump rope king. Yep.
Yeah, because he said he was having trouble with the lag. He had to he used he plugged the wired controller in or something like that. Basically, he tried every method to reduce the lag down as much as he could to get it. So yeah, that's definitely something, isn't it? With these in recent games, sometimes lag can just a slight, few milliseconds off can put you off enough to get you out of sequence, with the jump rope one, for example. Sucks, All right, cool. Then Vec, what's yours then?
Mine's from Lollipop Chainsaw. It's called No Fear of Heights. So I thought this game was pretty easy, and I thought, looking at the trophy list, oh, the miscellaneous trophies can't be that hard. I was wrong. Horribly wrong. No Fear of Heights, the description says, beat the gondola game without shooting. So that requires to move up, down a column, where you have to play an arcade type of game in which you're in a small gondola. Now, zombies are in the top of some of the bricks, and they're throwing barrels, cars at you, and you would actually try to use the buzzsaw, the saw, to actually break those items as they fall. Now, basically, you cannot tap at all the triangle button at any time. Otherwise, you basically have to restart the whole level. So, in that sequence, you're basically in the checkpoint, and you have to move up. That's easy enough. Problem is, the trophy guide basically tells you good luck, because all of the sequence is randomized. So there's a clear path on the top. The thing is, there can be a short, narrow space where 3 zombies are on the top, and if they all throw barrels at the same time, you can kiss your ass goodbye, because you have to restart the whole segment again. And you would actually have to see, okay, so this enemy is trying to throw this, and this, so I have to zip back and forth and back and forth. I had to throw my controller 2 times, and Punish is a witness on this, because I was so frustrated at this trophy. I decided to call it quits at one point and play Fortnite. So it was very, very hard. So there's no definite strategy. You're basically trying to see whether it's safe to move up or not, and you basically have to pray that the dice is in your favor in order to move up. So it's gonna be very
another
difficult.
random based trophy then almost.
Mm-hmm. It's a very random based. So that's about it. Okay. Yep. So that's about it. It's that. Yeah. That's basically it.
Okay, all right. Well, that's our tricky trophies for this week then. So I guess we're more towards the end of the episode now. So we'll start our rounding up unless anyone wants to add anything. Punish, how was your Bloodborne drawing giveaway thing going?
It's going very well. We have 5 to 6 people that are going to be entered into the drawing now. If you guys are listening, or obviously when this podcast is posted, the drawing will be over. But please do get your Bloodborne platinums up. I did see a couple of people post their Bloodborne platinums into the community trophy challenge. However, they did not post it into the Bloodborne drawing. So if you guys do want to be part of the Bloodborne drawing, it has to be posted in the appropriate channel. So this weekend also, guys, we of course are rounding up the month of March. So we will have the leaderboard posted here in the next couple of days too, to see who was at the top of most platinums for the month of March too.
Yes,
Nice.
I always look forward to that. It's
Yep.
always a good. Yeah, that's always awesome to look at, and you get to see like all the like the increase of people taking part in the community challenge as well.
Mm-hmm.
The list seems to get bigger and bigger every month, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I definitely think that we'll break our record this year. I think we're shooting for 4,000 platinums for 2018, and I mean with last month and this month, after just skimming the numbers, I definitely think that we will have no problem hitting 4,000 platinum total.
Nice. It's a good community effort. Vec, anything you want to add?
No, I think that's all for this week. So.
Awesome. So let's see where we can find Punish. Where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter. I'm primarily on there, and it's SSG_Punish. And then every once in a while, you guys can find me on Twitch, which is SSG Punish as well.
Awesome. Vic?
You can find me on Twitter at TheVictronic.
Awesome. And you can find me on Twitter at TheDazil. So, thank you for listening. As always, you can find our episodes on our YouTube channel, The Trophy Trust. Please support us there by subscribing for future episodes. You can also find updates on our Twitter at The Trophy Trust. There in the profile, you can find a link to the Discord. If you haven't already, you can join our ever-growing community of gamers and trophy hunters. If you enjoy our show, please consider supporting us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. A strictly non-profit podcast. Our server hosting costs to keep all our episodes online and keep them available for you to listen to and download. This has been The Trophy Trust. Thank you for listening and keep on hunting. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
That's about it.
Awesome. I kept getting disconnected. You probably didn't notice because it was instant, but my voice thing just kept disconnecting and reconnecting. So I wonder if that's a bug somewhere.
That didn't sound off in my end. So that was kind of weird, of course, but that wasn't like prominent in the recording. Hopefully not.
Yeah, I would just check for updates actually. I know there was an update the other day for.
Yeah, I need to do the same because mine's been kicking me out, and it'll kick me out, but I come back like almost immediately.
Yep.
Like I see I see the button that says connect to voice, and then it just disappears, and I'm automatically back into VC.
Yeah, that's what was happening during this podcast. That's what I'm talking about. That was happening to me. It kept disconnecting and bringing me back in instantly.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not me then. That's good.
Yeah, there is an update for iOS. I've got it here. I've done it on my iPhone, but I haven't done it on my iPad yet. So.
Okay, good to know. I'll go ahead and do that once I jump off here then.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That was a pretty good one. Pretty smooth. No problems. All right, I'm gonna get.